Something ain't right around here. And what it is ain't so clear. Well, I got 2 county marshals out the door. And I don't want to stay here anymore. No, I don't. I got things that I've left undone. And I got 3 chords and a suitcase and a story to tell. Yeah, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Codfathers podcast. My name's Damon. This is my buddy Bruce Thomas. Our very special guest today, man of 1,000 voices, is an understatement. It might be 5 or 10,000. This is the lovely and talented Piotr Michael, everyone. Piotr, welcome, my brother. How are you?
Bros, it's great to be here. I haven't seen you guys in a while. This is fun. This is like old times, shooting the shit on set.
Yeah. I haven't run into you since Formosa. That was kind of a one-off. We were just crossing paths in the
that was a while ago
in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I spilled tea all over my pants, and I was trying to convince everybody I didn't piss myself. I swear, well, it's the yellow colored tea that I'm drinking.
Yeah, I assured everyone when you went to the bathroom behind your back. I said, I assure you, he's a bit of a mess in the kitchen, but you're gonna love what he does in that booth.
Yeah.
So I guess they kept you, and everything went good.
So was that all the way back in Cold War, or was that something after that?
I think I was doing
6 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah, I was doing something. I think I was doing a commercial. I can't remember what I was doing.
So was it COD related?
No. It was like a commercial.
Yeah.
I was doing something COD related.
Right.
Dude. So yes, Piotr Michael, who plays Jason Hudson in Cold War. We got to meet. We first met you. Well, I'm not sure about Bruce, but the first time I met you was when we were all
Same
doing
time.
the Safe House scenes and the Ronald Reagan scene.
That's right. That's right. With Jeff Bergman.
Jeff Bergman, that's his name. He did.
Oh my God, he
did such a
if you
great
guys have,
Reagan. Oh, what a great Reagan he did.
I connected with him a little while after that, and he's basically the older version of me. So like he, back in his day, he was doing all the impressions and cartoons and stuff, but he's fabulous. He's just great. Yeah, I remember like sitting down and we'd fucked up our takes because he was amazing. We're like, it's fucking Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Because everybody kind of does like a Ronald Reagan, but you're like, oh no, that sounds like a real Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I mean, we could not look at him because he was so presidential. I mean, he just kind of drew you right to him.
Yeah.
And I got to sit right next to him, so that was cool.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, tell me more.
Oh man, he was so talented. And so between takes, we would go to the little kitchen area of the old Activision space where we did the PK.
Yeah.
The new one's just down the street. But we'd go there, and Piotr, we'd all entertain each other with stories, but you would entertain us with different characters. All of a sudden, Jeff Goldblum would show up. Maybe John Lithgow would drop by. Tell me, please tell us, how did this...
Oh, Stan Lee as well. Stan Lee came up.
Yes.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
How did this
Rest in peace.
How did
They're
this
all dying.
Start? In your bedroom as a kid, watching cartoons, mimicking them? How did you get going with all that?
Yeah. I mean, I come from a pretty creative family, and so we grew up watching a lot of movies, but we also watched obscure foreign films and stuff. And my dad actually studied animation at UCLA, so he had a bunch of books and old colleagues and connections to resources that kids don't normally have. So I get to see like behind the scenes like images and videos of like, oh, this is how a cartoon is made. So it was intriguing for me to step behind the curtain early on, but I was actually interested more in making cartoons. So I started drawing, I studied art, and I thought that's the direction I was going to go. And throughout my upbringing, I was doing little theater here and there, but I didn't really take it seriously because my dad did more of that. I was like, I don't want to be like my dad. I want to sit and cry on a piece of paper. And so, yeah, I just absorbed a lot as a kid, and I thought everybody could do it, because
You
it
thought
was
everybody
all I
could
knew.
mimic other people?
Yeah, I thought everybody could do a bunch of voices. I'd go in the schoolyard and be like, "Hey, you guys just saw Back to the Future? Great Scott, Molly!" And it was so freaky because I'd be like a 12-year-old, 12-year-old kid running around talking like Christopher Lloyd. So I just assumed everybody could do it, and
So when you saw what your dad did, and you got to see those resources, when you got to be connected with those resources, was there actually videos of human beings doing the voices, like you could see
that I didn't know. I didn't see like voice acting. I think that might have resonated with me sooner had I known that. I think really it was people like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams who would do voices on a panel or something where you would see them physically transform. That affected me before knowing what voiceover was.
Oh, Jim Carrey especially. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Face contorts.
Yeah, and
Becomes.
yeah, he would physically transform. And
I remember seeing him do James Dean when he had to turn around from the audience and he'd come back.
yeah, but he would upturn his collar and then he would just turn. But it's a skill. It's an incredible skill, and yeah, I never thought that world was accessible, and so I didn't really have aspirations for it. And then when I was about 16, 17, YouTube came around, 2004, 2005, and I saw people sharing stuff, and I would share my art online. I used to do caricatures, so I would like do a live caricature and show people what I was doing, and
So you were
do
proceeding
time
as
lapse.
if you were going to be part of a visual team that was going to help to create animation and that kind of stuff. Or was
Yeah,
it
yeah. No. I was heavily interested in making it my career, studying art and animation, and I realized pretty soon that I didn't have the mathematical brain or the patience to sit and be like make minute changes on a drawing and stuff. It would just infuriate me. I wanted to be instantly animated, and so I saw that acting was something that was more and more interesting. And
did that come from the students on the playground that heard you do voices and stuff, and so you started to get the feedback that?
No. For a while I still assumed everybody could do it. I kept to myself. I didn't really didn't seek out jumping up on stage. I was pretty shy. Still am pretty shy. I hide behind voices whenever I can, but yeah, it really started happening when I got attention off of YouTube, because I started sharing the impressions that I would do normally. I'd go watch a movie and hang around with my siblings, and we'd relive the movie at the dinner table or whatever. And I started making little short videos, like 3-4 minutes on YouTube, and started like going viral in the early days of YouTube. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll take this seriously, and then got a microphone when I was 18, my 18th birthday. And boom, I just started messing around more and more, and researching like what actually was the job and what people were doing.
A business.
Yeah. I got books from Dawes Butler, and God, I think I still have them back on the shelf somewhere. But yeah, all the like tricks and techniques that actors use to learn how to cold read for the first time, and come off convincing, and that sort of thing. And I realized soon after, it's like, you need acting before you do voices.
That's what I tell everybody. That's the big go-to. That if any young people ask me about advice, because we make it look so easy in the end product, that everybody kind of feels like they want to get in on it. And so the first thing I tell them always is you have to be an actor.
Yeah.
Number one.
And you have to be inquisitive about the world, because one of the more difficult things as a young actor when I first started doing more and more projects is you'd be presented with an audition and I'd be like, I don't know how to approach this. I've never experienced this in my life. So all you could do is mimic what you've seen before, and that becomes derivative and less likely to book because you're not yourself, you know. Yeah. But I'm one to talk because all I've done is steal people's voices. So,
yeah, but you do. But much like you just inferred, you put your own take on it. You put your own spin on it. You do you doing them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're obviously very close. I remember you say just after we met. Then I think my birthday rolled around pretty soon, and you sent me a birthday wish from Jeff Goldblum, which was I saved on my phone for quite a while because it was so good. It was so close.
Yes, Jeff Goldblum. Very interesting, because a lot of people have made the correlation that my normal voice sounds similar to him already. So I just focused on the mannerisms and get a little weird.
It's so good. It's so good. It is close. It's so good. But it is
good.
It is kind of. It is close. Not the.
Yeah.
Not his inflections and where he goes up and down and gets quiet. Your voice is close to his on its own, but what you do to dial it in is.
Yeah, and that's one technique I talk to young people as well, where they'll say like, well, what impressions should I focus on? Blah, blah, blah. Who's the most, impressive voice I should really try? Or how do I get better and sound exactly like this person that I can't? And I say, look for people who either physically you resemble or that people have commented on and said, hey, it's funny. You kind of sound like Jeff Goldblum or, Jack Nicholson when you sneeze or whatever. And you go, hey, I resonate a little bit with that.
Yeah.
And my voice is there and I can do that. And so it's easier to tune in to that to start and get an idea. Yeah.
When you start.
Do you guys do any impressions? That's what I'm always curious,
Badly.
No. Yeah, no.
Badly.
You've got to.
I do. I don't do them for a living but as I'm watching stuff like I don't know, Family Guy. Hey, Chris. I start doing the pedophile guy. The pedophile guy.
Yeah. That's my go-to impression of pedophile.
Love it. Yeah. For anybody hiring out there, if you need
he's got that whistle.
Creepy pedophile. I'll put my email in the link here. So just get in touch.
Yeah,
with
who
me.
does that voice? Is that Seth Green or is that Seth MacFarlane doing it? Somebody else?
I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Remember.
I can't tell who that is.
Seth does.
Or they never reveal. They're like, I don't want to be known as the pedophile.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know who does that, but it comes up all the time, and
The only one I ever did was Liam Neeson. I did a demo. I did a scratch track as Liam for a promo for one of his films. They wanted to hear that, so I did that. But it takes me a while to really. I have to go listen to him and really dial it in.
Yeah, it's very musical. I mean, that's all I ever did. When people ask me what's the key to doing impression, and there's many techniques and things like that, but I don't have the vocabulary to even articulate. Like, well, put your palate in the back of your mouth and place your tongue here, and make sure that your nasal cavities are wide. Like, I don't. All I do is I listen and repeat.
You don't go through it phonetically
glottal stop
or anything like that. No phonetics.
You both spoke at the same time, so sorry.
We do that. That's kind of the gag on our podcast. We talk over each other like a motherfucker. Yeah. Bruce, please go ahead.
No. I was just no.
Okay.
It was a stupid.
So what I was saying when Bruce rudely interrupted or talked over me.
Yeah.
You don't go through with a phonetic book and it's all by ear.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if it's something very specific that I'm trying to figure out before I do the impression, because I don't do a Boston all the time,
I do
a Boston accent all the time, and so when I'm asked to do it, I gotta kind of refresh myself, So I actually have like a phonetic book, and I'll go, and it kind of helps, but for me, it really is still listening and repeating. And I will listen to the source or the reference. I will repeat and record myself. Then I would play both back and see how far off I am. And then I just tweak it and tweak it.
Yep.
And then after doing that for about half an hour, I kind of get like loose and a feel for it. So then I put the reference away and I just do the script as myself as best as I can with the impression. And then I go back to the reference and I go, yeah, that's there. It's there. But it's interesting. It's like when you book, because I will do voice matching, which is where you physically have to sound as close to the original performance as possible to fill in a line, to do added dialogue or replace dialogue. And I found that you really don't know sometimes with the casting director or the director or whoever's on the project, because they will say, we want an exact match for Steve Buscemi. And I go, great, I'll work on Steve Buscemi. And I go, hey, okay, here's Steve Buscemi. We're doing the lines, and I am a loser. Kill me now. And they go, yeah. They end up hiring somebody else because like he sounded too close to Steve Buscemi.
Right.
And you go, what? But you asked for that.
Yeah, I
what
read
the
your
hell?
Specs. Yeah.
Too on the nose.
Yeah. It's we don't want to offend him by sounding exactly like him. But then some projects, that's exactly what they want. And so I usually do 2 takes where I will do a voice match, and then I'll do one that's an impression. Whereas it's like it's an impression in the sand. You leave your footprint on the sand.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, I recognize what that is. It was a shoe there, but it's definitely not a shoe.
It's your personal
imprinted.
take on
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Which is like what Dana Carvey does so well, where he'll take the nuances of somebody and then he'll invent things because it's just funny.
Yeah.
And then that becomes the standalone impression. And then people will just be mimicking his impression, and they're like, you listen back to the reference, and you're like, what? George W. Bush never sounded like that,
Right.
or
Johnny
whatever.
Carson. I love his Johnny Carson too.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I always had I grew up in Georgia, so I had a Southern dialect, and then I moved to New York. Then I had a New York dialect, and those were the 2 I would read if there was ever needed in commercial read or something. But since I married into a Boston family, naturally I picked up a Boston accent, and so now I get calls for political stuff in Boston and Dunkin' Donuts and things like that.
Dunkin' Donuts.
And Dunkin', hey, come to fucking Dunkin' Donuts already, all right?
Is that
So
because
that's New York, but
is that because Affleck and Damon are doing the commercials? Like they seem to be doing a whole Boston thing, Dunkin' Donuts.
oh yeah, they got hired to do a sleeve of commercials for those guys. I think last year or whatever. Yeah, I read for one recently, and it was about no more taxes, Donnie, no more taxes. And so every time I do a take, and I'd run out to the living room and run it by the wife. And we'd go through, she'd be like, no, this word's a little off. It'd be one word. I'd go back in and correct it and come back out. So that's it. You're hitting it too hard. And then, usually the first time I go really deep, like say Dwala instead of dollar. And
Dwala.
usually I'll go way deep, and then I'll dial it back because it can't be so strong that it's a caricature for a commercial.
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhere, an everyman. It could be the mayor of Boston, or maybe he's a cop at Boston. Anyway, I usually start really going for it, and then dial it back, and then ask the wife. And if she's not around, I'll call my in-laws on the East Coast and ask them how it sounds. And
The thing that I do that helps with dialects, because I've done a Russian, I did a job where I played a Russian soldier, Eastern European. Sometimes in animation they'll ask for if you're going to play a villain, a vaguely Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to choose somewhere in Hungary and Poland and Russia. But I find that thinking about the culture of the country that the dialect comes from really helps a lot. For Boston, it's working class people.
Exactly.
Southern side, like Southeast.
Sure.
They're all working class guys. They're fucking tough guys. That's why they talk like that. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they're handed shit every day, so they're just like, what the what's you think that's a problem? Fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying with like Eastern European, it's really important because you can do the accent, but if you don't know where they're from and what they're dealing with, you don't realize how they talk. Like my mom, 'cause my mom's from Poland, and she'll say things that offends people sometimes, but it's not that she's being offensive. It's that her placement of words or her inflection is too strong on a certain word, and people go like, "What?" She's like, you can say something, and that's why they sound evil, or British people sound evil because they're like, "Oh wow!" I mean, British guys were bad guys for so long, and now we're back to Russians again. Which is fun, but once we get like South Africans as the main villains, it's like, oh god. Count me out. I can't do that. That's too difficult.
Yeah, I get them crossed up with Australian and Kiwis. It's a tough one to do.
Well, and the Germans and Austrians have a hard time. Like they don't make small talk. They don't.
Yes, they get to the point now. What are you talking about? Yes,
this is what it's about.
This is what you're doing here.
Extremely
we're going
direct.
to kill you.
So they don't get our little innuendos, little comedic, little funny things that we're trying to. It just goes right over their heads. And so,
you're trying to be funny, but why? You're going to die. I don't understand why you try to be funny. But then it's funny, like if you actually travel and you go there, you're like, oh, the stereotypes are bullshit. You'll meet a German who's the fucking funniest guy ever. And they're like, this person isn't being represented at all. So you've also got to like throw that shit out the window.
Some of my favorite women I've ever met especially when I was younger in New York. I'd meet a lot of German girls that would travel, and they were so warm and wonderful. They were big-hearted, warm women. I love it.
Yeah. So the stereotypes, especially now that we are basically a global entity, people are influenced by other source material. So like I have cousins in Poland who are raised on American shows. So they're more American than I am because they're getting a finished product that's packaged a certain way. And you're like, hey, how you doing, man? What a great day it really is here in Poland. You want to get some McDonald's? I'm like, the fuck?
You've been listening to talk radio? They turn into a different. That's funny, yeah. What they do, they get Friends, and of course, they get Law and Order everywhere, and so they've got a good dose of Americanisms and American characteristics, I guess, from all those TV shows. You're so right. How do you approach when you get a commercial audition? I've heard your commercial for Progressive Insurance. Is that what it was? Was it Progressive Motorcycle Insurance or Geico?
Geico.
Excuse me.
Geico Insurance.
I heard yourself. So that voice that you do, it's kind of would you say a classic announcer voice and not your voice? How do you approach stuff that's not character stuff and it's say it's a radio?
More. Yeah, I mean, I was on the Howard Stern show for almost 10 years, and they asked me, because I would do impressions and stuff, and they'd ask me to occasionally do like commercial parodies or promos that were, just to promote something fake in a funny bit. And so I'd have to watch and find all these older references, and so I picked up on all these guys, and eventually the parodies started becoming more serious, and they're like, oh, don't be jokey, just play it real.
Yeah.
And then I would get auditions that I would never book, and I'd be like, I'm just going to do what I learned doing parodies. And I would do that announcer voice, that guy, but, whatever. And I would book it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's because you lock into that style that's been established. So when
I was going to say, first off, nothing beats experience. And if you've done it for 10 years...
of course.
It gets into your cellular...
Yes.
Your molecular buildup, makeup.
And the thing is, making it your own is just really having fun with it and not caring too much about the rules of what people want. Nobody knows what they want.
Yeah, that's
And,
a great rule of thumb across the board with performing
Yeah.
on camera or voice work, anything.
And that, I mean,
Don't worry
that-
about what they are looking for.
oh gosh, that would freeze me in my tracks all the time when you take the breakdowns too seriously. We're like, they're looking for this, and if I don't do this, then they won't like me. But you have to realize that out of 200 people auditioning for this, let's say, 90% of them, maybe 180 of them, will all do exactly what the breakdown says.
Yeah.
And the 15, 20 guys that do something out of left field, they go, I don't know why, but this works. This is better. This is fun.
Yeah.
Well, you can they don't know what they're exactly looking for when you get the breakdown and the specs say the two actors they give you as an example are Morgan Freeman and Bryan Cranston
Right.
as examples.
Yeah.
So it's like we just want a deep, warm guy
And
who sounds
and
middle
it also,
class,
It also says
working
male,
class.
male or female, 35 to 55.
Yeah.
When it says male or female, they certainly don't know what they.
And now you have to throw in non-binary, and so that
Yeah.
that's
I've got a
Well,
new.
how do you-
I've
how do
got
you-
a new bag for that. I've got a new bag for that. You won't know when I'm doing it. I just start. I want to. It'll creep on you.
No, you just slate and you say, I identify as, and then you go into your audition, and then, then it doesn't matter. I mean, it's great that everybody's being represented, but it is interesting that it's like sometimes they hold themselves back by not being open. Just be like, all right, if that's specifically what you want, then go for that.
Sure.
But yeah, when I was developing voices for announcers and that sort of thing, it was based off of eras and styles of that way. But I did a lot of trailers. Like there's the Don LaFontaine guy, who's the big guy that everybody knows from the '90s and mid to late '80s. Who's the big booming voice? Arnold Schwarzenegger. His is so over the top. It always sounds inauthentic when I do it.
Yeah.
And so for mine, when I was trying to emulate a trailer guy, there was a guy called Hal Douglas. Hal Douglas, never before have you ever seen. And he sounds like an older man, like a wise sage. And I always connected more with that, more of the storyteller-driven voice versus the epic announcer guy that sounds otherworldly.
Yeah.
Because it was harder for me to connect with a script when you sound like an alien, basically. It's like
that's the only
you
promo
can't.
I've ever done is one where they wanted Don LaFontaine. So it was for
Yeah.
Legos. In a world where everything is made of plastic.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah. That does sound good.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and it's fun when you can do those voices, and then I mean, for me, I used to go into the booth. I did Universal Studios, did a promo for Harry Potter Land when they opened that up, and I booked that, and I would go into the studios at was it Margarita Mix, I think, and down in Santa Monica. Fantastic place. And I'd go in and I didn't have a beard and I was skinnier and smaller, and they'd go, are you here with your dad? We're waiting for the talent.
Exactly.
And I'd go, no. I'm here to record. And I would go in there and I did like an old wizard voice, The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, now open at Universal Studios. Buy your park tickets and passes online. And they go, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my god! Yeah. Well, it's a mind fuck to people looking at you, like that little skinny guy in his 20s, and and you're doing somebody who sounds like they're 65 to 70 years old and has lived a life over 3 times. It's amazing. Yeah, it must be a mind fuck.
I did a Discount Tires commercial.
Oh, okay.
And I went to a studio, but the director was remote. And so when he recorded me, he just started off going, "Oh my God, I love your voice. Do you have grandkids?" Like he was just trying to shoot the shit. And so I freaked out, and I'm like, I gotta lean into this. So I was just like, well, no, I don't have any grandkids, but I've got some cats. I live with my partner, and yeah. All right. And then we're like, come to Discount Tire, and we'll get you taken care of. And he's just like, wow. He's like, your voice is just so much experience and richness to it, and I'm like sweating. I'm like, don't turn the camera on.
Please
don't
turn that Zoom camera on.
don't Google me. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's funny what you can get away with in voiceover. That's also the joy. Is like,
It's also the joy, for sure.
yeah, you can transform.
Yeah.
And when you're on camera, you've got to depend on how you look and how you're perceived in order to sell something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only go so far with some things.
Which
it's pretty.
which brings me to another area to talk about, which would be on-camera stuff. Have you ever done any on-camera stuff?
Mostly comedic and sketch stuff. I did a reboot of Mad TV.
Right.
I did, a couple independent films. I did a comedy show that was eventually on Amazon, but no, not a lot. I also was fortunate that voiceover took over.
Yeah.
Because I did, go out for cattle calls and all the on-camera stuff, and then I'd be waiting, for the on-camera audition to come in, and in the meantime, I would get 30 voiceover auditions, and I'd go, yeah, I can bang these out quicker. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it just took over. So when I do get an on-camera stuff, I'm always excited, but also nervous because it's like I don't do it as often.
Yeah. Less familiar, right? Well, my kind of point for bringing that up was when going back to the anonymity of being able to get lost in the character. But
Yeah.
I've done a lot of on-camera stuff, and so a lot of the people that hire me for voiceover some already know who I am or what I look like or what type I am.
Yeah.
But for example, it's been, I don't do a lot of it anymore. Once a year I'll do something on camera. But I did something on for Elder Scrolls mobile game recently. And I want to talk about this too. I love when I get artwork, when you can see the character.
Yeah.
It really helps because this character I was playing was a big ogre. Just this huge Shrek kind of ogre, and he was an orc, and he had fangs coming up from under his
Yeah, that completely informs how you talk, and
That's how I talked. Hey, what can I? He was a bartender too, so his orc was like, "Hey, what can I get
fantastic.
for you?"
So it's absolutely freeing. 100%
Yes.
freeing. And it's
Yes.
not something that I get to do all the time, but I ran with it and had a great time.
yeah. Damon, do you do
I
any
love the
cartoon
artwork.
stuff?
I
Yeah,
do-
the artwork is
I do read for quite a bit of animation. What did I just read for? Mostly video games, though, but I do read for animation. I just read for something in the Marvel universe. I can't say the character or anything, but it was,
don't say the character. My God, they won't hire you, and they'll blacklist.
And I
you
signed
forever.
an NDA and sent it away last week. It was something in a Marvel universe they're doing some kind of kid show for. But yes, I do read for that. But it's mostly video games, and out of every 5 video games, one out of every 4 or 5 video games usually have performance capture attached to it. So that I have to go in, and I used to self-tape here at my house, but it became such a setup breakdown because I don't have a big house, so it became set up and a breakdown. I just finally got rid of all the equipment, and I go right over here to Atwater Village, this little place, and go in and have a reader, and they set the lights and they record me and send it off for me. It's great, and it's very reasonable to do that. But that's different.
I think
'cause
that's also
when it's performance capture. I mean, you have to be off book, so you have to learn 3 pages of dialect versus. We're not off book, and we do read it. I'm sure the 3 of us can agree. Sometimes we'll go through it, and it'll, we'll do 6 takes, 7 takes, and find out where it goes. But being off book is a different story. It's a different story, and then being on camera. I mean, so not having the script is the big difference for me, because the first thing I want to do is get off book, because I'm not really comfortable doing anything until I know the lines. I have them down. So,
Yeah,
I don't even know what the question was and how we got there.
I don't remember either. No, I asked you if you did cartoons.
Oh, right.
No, that's but it's also it's a great insight into the process of like acting, where you are freer when you have the lines down, and then you can focus more on intention or the emotional state of what you're feeling. And sometimes when I just did an audition that was like a very long monologue, I read it about 20 times. And I'm like, this is too much. Like, I'm overdoing it. I'm doing this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to memorize the first chunk of it and memorize the end chunk of it. And I'm going to record myself doing voiceover. And what that gets from you is a completely different performance.
100%.
And even though I'm fucking up the lines, then I have that rhythm in my head. Then I go back to read the lines, and I'm carrying that inertia that I discovered from being off book slightly, and that makes it a much rawer performance and feels like a real guy.
For the most part, unless it's something like that where there's a big long chunk of dialogue that's really kind of difficult to memorize. If it's a normal audition that is maybe two pages, 2.5 pages, something, I'll run it so many times. I'll run it to get the rhythm, and then find the voice, find how I want to play this person. And then by that time, for the most part, I'm almost off book.
Yeah.
And it's very freeing that way. Yeah. I've learned to do that in the last.
Yeah, because you can glance at the lines, and then you know what's coming to follow, so you can have a contrast in your performance and get that surprise, that makes it much more fun to listen to.
And unless there's a technical reason that it's difficult to do, I try to do the entire thing in one take. Like, instead of stopping and starting and piecemealing it together, and that wasn't quite the right inflection that I had intended, so let me just punch that in there instead.
That's one of the things I get frustrated with the most doing with cartoons, because we will do chunk by chunk. Well, they'll go 3 takes, just give us A, B, and C, A, B, and C, A, B, and C. And then after we've recorded 10 pages, if I have the luxury, I will ask them, can we do a speed run? One take?
Yeah.
Just now that I've got the flow of what was working, because I heard your selects and that was nice, can we just do it? And 85% of the time they're like, that was amazing. That worked. That was great. Because you're workshopping every line, and then you go, you're basically doing dress rehearsal, and now you're doing the final show. But sometimes directors don't give you that option, or it's uncomfortable to be like, hey, can we just redo it because it's not flowing.
But it's really great to own that for yourself, to own that, and to ask. There's no harm in asking. They say no, it's no.
Yeah,
and if you get a chance to go back and do it, that can happen.
And, sometimes I'll watch a finished show, and it's gorgeous. The sound effects are amazing. And I go, oh, they Frankensteined my voice here. Which means, for the listeners, they've taken different takes and put them all together to fit the timing or whatever they were looking for specifically for this shot. And I go, I can hear it, and it pisses me off. And
it loses the magical flow, though.
Yeah. So, but that's also the thing is, like, I'm always surprised that there's no confidence on the other side of the glass to go, hey, let's do that again. It's a little choppy, Sometimes they just go, I think that's all they're going to let us. He's oh gosh, he is Russell Adler on the show. The guy could kill us in real life. I don't know.
They're always doing weird things. You never know what they're thinking.
But that's why I try and start the session jokey and warm and silly, so that they know when I do the serious character, I can go back to being really easygoing,
that's
and
really
approachable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is that intimidation where they go, well, we don't know. And I don't know if you're experienced with this, where when on-camera talent come to do voiceover, there is more intimidation.
Yes.
Mostly because the on-camera person is uncomfortable.
Insecure. Correct.
And so the production goes, oh, these guys fucking pissed. And the whole time the guy's shitting his pants. He doesn't know what to do. And he just wants direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just like, tell me what to do. And they're like, that's fine. Yeah,
And they're
great
kissing
job.
his ass.
Yeah,
like her ass.
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just speaking, going back to what we were talking about before. I was just in the studio last week, and I was doing a feature. I was doing an animated feature and a character. It was really fun to do. And it was a French director, and we had already done one session, one pass on the film, and so this was pickups, and this was added lines and things like that. So he played me a rough cut of the. It's still in process, all the artwork. Anyway, we played a rough cut of the scene with this actress, and I liked it, but he was going on and on and on how much he loved what I did in this thing and the relationship that I had with the actress, and who I didn't work with, by the way. We shot it all separately, as we do. But he loved the camaraderie, the relationship of it. But then we did all the new lines, and I really got into the thing. And when I first saw this cut that he showed me, I was thinking to myself, I think I can do better than that. I could really, now I can go back and do better than that. But I didn't say anything. We got done with the session, and I just left. I didn't say anything because he's already so happy with it. I didn't want to. I should have. I should have, given what we just spoke about. I should have just piped up and said, hey, we've got time. Do you mind should we just do another pass of the first scene just for shits and giggles?
Yeah.
I should have said that.
And sometimes it's really like maybe we get too self-critical. You know, we have to let go a little bit sometimes because they don't know what we're capable of sometimes. And they go, it fits the project and the story with what I'm going for here. This is great. But yeah, it is frustrating. Do you guys feel comfortable watching yourselves or listening to yourself? Do you get hypercritical at all?
I think so. I think it's natural to do that. Bruce said, he'll walk out. Like I'll walk out of a audition, or I'll go do a self tape. When I watch it, and then I'll watch it 20 minutes later when I get home, and I'll be like, oh, I should have changed that. Should have taken a beat there. But like you said, sometimes you just got to be like, you know what? This is what I did at 5 to 5:30 on this Tuesday, and this is what I'm sending in. You know, because sometimes there was a time when I used to overdo everything, and I'd do it so much, I'd be in it, and I'd take a break and have lunch. I'd be 2 hours in already, and we're talking about a 30-second commercial. And I'd come back and I'd listen to it. I'd be like, it's not. Doesn't sound like the guy next door. Doesn't sound like you're talking and have a conversation with your best friend about beer. It sounds like you're pushing. And so there was a time when I do that. Now it's more like 3 takes, 4 takes, and then do something maybe out there and flip it. And so if it says do 2 takes, I'll do a 3rd take, and I'll completely ignore all the specs, and I'll go to my first instinct when I read it. I won't try to be smooth and make the beer sound good. I'll be like, dude, this is fucking killer beer. You should be drinking it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And
I'll
always send a 2nd or a 3rd take and put it at the end.
Yeah.
They may not get to it, but if they do, sometimes it happens where it's like, oh, wait. Like you said earlier, ignore the specs. There's 85% of the people did exactly the same thing. They're like, wait, this works for some reason. We didn't write it down or tell you, but occasionally it happens, and it's wonderful when it does. Anyway.
Also, when you can be too perfect, it comes off stilted or unnatural. Like a lot of the breakdown that I'm reading now for promos, they say, we do not want an announcer sound.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep. We don't want this to sound like a commercial. We want natural people. And so I'm like, all right, natural. I'm not going to do any EQ. I'm going to be slightly off mic. I'm going to go and just like rough it up. And I go in and I go, I don't know if they want to hear that. It's too rough. So you have to find the balance of like, stumbling with words and just going
sometimes it's difficult for them to articulate.
Yes. Well, the assistant is writing down, or they're copying, pasting breakdowns from 12 months ago.
Or they're asking the casting director how they should word it, and the casting director would just say, non-announcery. That's what you're looking for, non-announcery.
Yeah.
Make it sound like a real person. Like, who should it sound like? I don't know, Morgan Freeman?
Yeah. Crispin Glover. Just put those two names on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Morgan
put
and
those.
Crispin
Yeah,
Glover. Sure.
yeah. Sometimes the spectrum is so wide, and you're like,
and Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell.
yeah. Can we say specifically from
He's
White
so
Lotus?
funny. Oh my God, he's so.
Oh
put-
my gosh!
Put his name down. He's so. I love him.
But don't be too funny.
Right.
Make me laugh, but don't make me cry laugh.
Yeah. I don't want to pee my pants.
Yeah. I don't want to be offended. Oh man, I love the breakdowns that come in for a 30-second commercial, and I go, "This takes a minute and 30 to read."
To read.
Oh God, I know. And
And I'm like,
take your time. Don't be fast.
Yeah, exactly.
In bold letters, it says, don't rush. And you're like, dude,
And-
you're squeezing
Yeah.
a minute and a half of conversation into a 30-second commercial. It has to be quick.
Yeah, but then
dude.
also,
What are you
the
doing?
length of the copy has no relationship to the 30-second spot that
Yes.
they're going to end up shooting. They just included.
They
all
want the
lines-
pace.
They
Yeah.
just included all the lines that they could think of. Oh, don't worry about the time.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you only learn this from experience, where you realize like most of the people don't know what they're doing, and that adds a little
Piot. That was
brevity
Piot.
to the performance.
Yeah.
Yes, nobody knows what they're doing. But what I mean is like the weight gets lifted off you a little bit, because it's like if you take it too seriously, then you're not going to do a good performance. And the reality is like a lot of the stuff you book will change completely when you're in the booth. I've done stuff where I've auditioned as a very subtle, scary villain for a kid's show, and I go in and they're like, more, louder, exaggerate, faster, bigger, broader, scarier, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, this sounds nothing like my audition. But they knew me enough to be able to do it.
They knew they could direct you.
But it's like, how would I know to audition in that way? So sometimes they just go and they're like, oh, the audition is just you showcasing that you have range and that they can manipulate you later for the benefit of whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And we were so, so avoid being too careful with it, too precious with it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what's the
Just do
famous
you.
quote? It's like, take your job seriously, but never take yourself seriously.
Yeah.
Take your job seriously. Don't take yourself seriously. I don't know.
Well, there's
It's an
also
old quote.
when I was
But that's
doing,
true.
I did one series as a regular for multiple seasons. We did 3 seasons for a show called Kyle XY, and I remember being up in Vancouver, and I was a regular on the show. I played the dad of the family, and we had a guest, a Canadian guest actor that was on, and he came up to me at one point. He did several episodes, and so we were close enough to share info and stuff. And he came up to me and he said, "Bruce," he said, "I love what you do. You're great at what you do." He said, "You know what you could use a little more of? Arrogance. Like, I'd love to see you walk onto a stage or walk into a room and just own it. In other words, don't ask so many questions like, what are you looking for this or that?" He didn't articulate that. But the one thing kind of stuck with me, like, you could use a little arrogance. And by that, he didn't mean walk into a room and be an asshole. That's not what it's about. It's about owning your craft and being confident enough to just go in there and do you. Just do you. Give them
But that's what they
you
tell us
do
all the
best.
time. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, which is another translation to saying, do what you know and don't worry that what you're doing is wrong, because it could be right. And if you're so off base, then we'll reel you in.
The other great note I got from a casting director during a session where I was just about to go into the room with all the producers, and Susan Bluestein was about to open the door, and she shut it, and she looked at me and she goes, "Go for it." And that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
That just set me up, and I booked the job.
But
It
isn't
was
that
amazing. She
fun?
was giving me permission to just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best.
That's a sweet spot when you find it too. After they give you permission to do it, and you fucking nail it, and you put some of your own personality behind it, and it comes across. It's a wonderful.
Well, it's
thing.
like you have, a shot of tequila or 2 before you go on stage, or you're at a party, and you're not watching what you're saying. You're not being an asshole, but you're just more confident at getting whatever thoughts in your mind out. And so if you take that idea and you apply it to acting, like, hey, before I do this take, I'm going to imagine having a shot of vodka. What is that going to do to the character? Well, he's just going to blurt out the line. He's not going to pause and, whatever. Yeah, there's so many techniques, and I'm sure all the Call of Duty fans are like, "This is great. We love Call of Duty and this acting class." The Call of Duty fans are well versed in the art of acting.
Well, now
Why is he talking about Hudson?
Now, how does this apply when you're blowing someone's fucking head off? Incoming missile! Incoming! I mean, it's so funny, like, the shit that you'll read, like, because Call of Duty's amazing. They'll bless us with multiple roles to do side characters sometimes. And they're like, you're a helicopter pilot. I'm like, cool, okay, awesome. And you'll have to read all these military terms, and they'll guffaw and laugh. They're like, it's not MK27, it's MK27. I'm like, well, I don't speak military. I'm not a soldier. What the fuck? Or like when we're on set and you get the actual military guys who are like, soldier would never stand like that.
Yeah. By the way,
And you're like, shit.
You just got you and your whole team killed. Oh,
Yes.
So when I clear a
Do the
room, I don't
scene-
come in with my ass first and then turn it around with the gun? Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah, thank God there's people there to tell us that. 'Cause-
I was going to say, that's really helpful to have those guys around. It's really cool.
Sure is, man.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure you guys got to do actual training, right? On you did like actual like shooting targets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Not
well,
targets, but we learned how to handle weapons and
We did,
Okay.
and we went to Wisconsin to Raven Studios, and we did a whole couple of days of basically urban warfare training.
Yeah.
Inside,
Wow.
going around corners.
clearing. They set up.
Not knowing what the fuck is around the next corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They set up.
And I'm
set up
interested to
courses.
know.
Go ahead.
Did that inform your voice performing when you went to the booth after the fact, knowing the physicality? Could
It
you
all does.
apply that? Yeah, yeah.
It all does.
Yeah.
Because physicality, that's one of the first things I do when I get a role on camera or voiceover wise, if it's for a video game, is I'll walk around. I'll find the gait. I'll find the posture of the person, the way he carries himself, and all that stuff. I think it informs. All that stuff informs.
It does inform, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so because we did performance capture first, and this was my first game, I guess, when we started in 2019. And after we went and did the training at Raven with the guns that weighed 8 or 9 pounds, that's heavy in your hands, man. And you got 35 pounds of gear on, with a backpack and a helmet and all that. So when I would get in,
add effort to the voice. All right.
I always ask, Amanda is so good, and Dan Lawford, they're also good at telling you about where you are. You're jumping out of a helicopter. Do I have a gun in my hand? Yeah, you do. So I'd always they'd always have prop guns in the booth, and I'd pick them up.
Yeah.
And this is before Woods was in a wheelchair for this game, for Cold War, so I got to move around this 10 by 10 space. I couldn't get too close to the glass because they'd be like, Damien, a little too close, voices bouncing off. But I always moved, always on my feet until I had to do the wheelchair. Then I was always in a chair recording for the last game. But yeah, it definitely informed the intensity of it. Match the intensity of the scene where, we're jumping out of a helicopter. Are we jumping into enemy fire, or are we jumping into trying to be quiet and rescue somebody behind enemy
what they
lines?
would do too. In Wisconsin, the two guys, Kyle and Jeff, they set up a whole urban warfare type thing. They set up
It
a
was an
room.
obstacle course, basically. Like
It was an obstacle
a
course.
warehouse
It was
with
empty
corners
rooms.
and blind corners you
So
couldn't see.
We as a team, back to back to back, silently going into a space, not knowing what's around the next corner.
Yeah.
And these guys would be hiding, and they'd say, "Okay, we're going to hold up one finger if we're friendly and two fingers if we're enemy." That's all. That's all you're going to find when you get in there. So, they'd come up and they go, and I go, boom, and I'd end up shooting the friend, and you go, fuck. It really gets your hair up when you go in. You don't know what the fuck you're going to find around the next corner, and so all of those things,
Yeah.
the reality of what the lethality of what these guys do on an hour-to-hour basis for a living in the Army,
Yeah.
is insane.
But what a
And
gift that you were able to experience that.
Big time.
because I mean, what other game would you be flown out anywhere to train for something? You know, that's incredible.
It was, and it's good. It was really good for team building too, because me and Bruce and I and Reggie and Damon Dayoub certainly bonded over that 4 or 5 days we spent in the middle of January in Madison.
Did
Wisconsin.
Lily do it as well?
She did not go. It was just the 4 of us. But then
Because she could kick our ass without training.
Yeah, they're like she's Lily's tough as nails.
Carry her with a look.
Yeah. So, but it helped with the team building too, and so that's why we were also, we had a tight bond on Cold War, because we all did some great scenes together where there was 6 or 7 of us on the stage together, in the safe house. And we've talked about that with some other people, but that was just that was a really good time. And when everybody's cool, the whole set's cool. This product's going to be badass because everybody's trust each other and it's fun. And you're loose, man. You're fucking loose. And you get such a better performance. So it's really smart, I think, of Activision to do that, to do a little team building and teach us how to handle a gun so we don't walk in, like we're Joe Pesci or some gangster.
More credit to Raven, actually, than Activision.
Okay.
Because I think it was Raven's call to send us out there.
Let's give credit to Raven then. Shout out Raven Software.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Yeah. All right, my man. What's coming up next?
Yeah.
My computer's about to die, so I think.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
Well, me, I don't know. I've got so many projects on the fire. I can't say anything. That's the thing that sucks. You can't do anything. But occasionally you can hear me on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I do a lot of voices on there.
Oh, which we have in common as well, because I did a couple of things with them in the years past.
Oh, nice.
I did a sort of a narration of, it was when Trump first was elected, and he was starting, everybody realized he was telling lie after lie after lie. So I did these spots where Trump has told his 2000th lie. So I did that kind of a PBS narrator voice.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And those guys are super sweet. And
they are.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm doing some Star Wars projects and things like that. So lots of things happening. I guess the only thing I can say is if people want to know what's going on, I'll let you know 5 days before it comes out. So my socials, you can just go to my website, piotrmichael.com, Piotr Michael.com, and
perfect.
All my socials are on there. You guys can find me.
Perfect.
I love your Instagram.
So nice to have you here.
Yeah, man. So good to see your face.
No,
I hope we get
so
to
great
see
to connect
you
again.
Soon.
Yeah.
We'll have a great day, brother. Thank you again for doing this. And
My pleasure, guys.
we will talk to you soon.